And you'll find their name, their region, and language in the breakout room tab. So we encourage you to just take a minute to look at the display. If you're on a computer, it's kind of near the bottom, and see if you can find breakout rooms. Depending on your device, they'll appear in different locations, but it's commonly found in the 3 dots at the bottom left or right of the display. Your task is to identify the breakout room you'd like to join so you can access it when it's prompted. Don't do it yet, but just give yourself a minute to kind of look and find it so that you're ready. Give you a minute to explore that. So thank you. We'll prompt you to join the breakout rooms following Brandy, who will now be introduced by Lisa.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lisa Wilson from upstate New York. My son, Tyler, who will be 24 in October, has TANGO2 disease. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing Brandy Rawls-Castillo. Brandy is a pediatric dietitian at Texas Children's Hospital. She specializes in nutrition, management of patients with metabolic diseases, and is passionate about helping patients and expanding the role of nutrition within genetics. We were privileged to have Brandy present at the 2022 TANGO2 Family Conference in Florida and welcome her back today so that she can pass on her wisdom to those who were not able to make it in person. Welcome, Brandy.
And Brandy, I can stop sharing if you have slides that you'd like to share.
Yes, I would.
Okay.
Thank
So
you for
stop.
that. Okay, let me.
And David, are you able to give her permission to share?
Just give me a moment. Give me one sec. I think I know how to do it.
I don't think I've stopped it completely. There we go. I stopped it now. So you should be able to do it now.
Dimi.
Where's Brandy?
It says host disabled.
Okay, just give us a sec.
I think it's the 3 little dots that are over her picture. Say something, Brandy, so your picture pops up to me.
Can you see me?
Yes.
Okay, give me 1 second.
I'm not seeing it either.
Okay. Let me just. I've got it now.
Okay, good.
So should I make a co-host or host? Co-host?
Yeah.
Make co-host. There you are, Brandy. So you've been made co-host. You should be able to share your screen.
Wonderful. Thank you. Let's see. Okay. I'm having an issue on my end. Give me one moment. I apologize.
No problem. The technical glitches are always present, no matter how many Zoom meetings you go to.
They really are.
Yes. That is true. I continue to scroll through and see so many new faces. I'm so happy so many of you came to join our group here. I think I've lost count of how many countries we represent now. It must be close to 30.
Okay, can you see that?
No, not yet.
Nope.
Okay. Try this.
Does anyone have their child with them so we can see some of our kiddos?
I just texted Kate to come down and say hi.
Oh, good.
She's still in
It's
her
always
pajamas,
nice
but that's okay. Here she is.
Oh, very good.
Hurry up.
My kids are all asleep at the moment.
Oh, there's Kate.
The camera's over here on my phone. Say
Tell
hi.
us how old
Hey,
you are,
Kate,
Kate.
how are you?
Victoria Rampa. Yeah. I told her we needed to take a new picture of you and
there's
at the conference this year. Yes.
I see Tyler. I see Hannah now.
There's Robin.
Oh, there's Ebony with one of her boys. I can't tell which one.
Oh, yeah. There's Tyler. Yep, there's Tyler.
Oh, is that Cole?
Oh, down here.
Gosh, look at him walking around already. I thought it seems like he was just born. Any luck, Brandy?
No. Tasha, can I email this to you very quickly, maybe?
Okay.
Or
Yeah, give it
somebody?
a shot.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I've never
Thanks,
had this
babe.
problem before.
Fine. The alternatively, you could, I mean, unless the if the PowerPoint doesn't have any private material in it, you could put it into the chat. That might be a faster way of passing it onto her.
Yeah, let me try that. Copy link.
And then maybe I can share my screen once I click on it, right?
Yes, that would be the
Okay, so let's see. Now I share screen. Share. And let's see. I
Here
should
we
be
go.
able to present, right?
Yes, on the right-hand side, if you go up to slideshow.
Okay. All right. Yay, we're in.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Tasha.
Good fix there, David. And thank you,
All right.
Brandy, for persevering.
Thank you guys for your patience.
Thank
I
you.
get teased for being a millennial and not being good with technology, but that's what it is.
Well, welcome and thank you for coming.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me. I'm so excited to be able to see some new faces and see some faces I met last year at the conference in Orlando. So I will be talking about B vitamins and TANGO2. Next slide, please. Okay. Did you know that baby goats or kids actually need thiamine supplementation if they get sick? Does anybody know what B vitamin thiamine is?
one or two.
You're correct. It's one. Perfect segue into our next slide, please. So one of the biggest questions in this community is always, what are these B vitamins? What are their names? Why do they have so many names? So we're going to go through all of the 8 that are recommended. So B1 is thiamine, and it is found in pork and enriched or fortified grains, such as cereals, breads, and pastas. And I put this picture down here. I feel like it's a very classic American product, Wonder Bread. Processed food gets a bad rap a lot of times, but I think we forget that part of the fortification and the enrichment is actually enriching it and fortifying it with vitamins and minerals. So you can see here from the ingredients, it lists out that it adds niacin, iron, thiamine, riboflavin, folic acid. So grains are sometimes a low-cost way of getting in some of these vitamins. B2 is riboflavin. Once again, can be found in all of these enriched grains. And dairy products like milk, yogurt, and cheese. Beef, fish, eggs, and liver also. Next slide, please. B3 is also called niacin. Once again, if you're noticing a theme, it's going to continue. Enriched grains, cereals, breads, and pastas. Red meat and fish. And then we have B5, pantothenic acid. Once again, enriched grains, cereals, breads, pastas, beef and chicken, and a select amount of some vegetables. So mushrooms, avocados, broccoli, potatoes, good leafy greens are going to have a lot of B5. Next slide, please. Okay. B6, pyridoxine. Once again, enriched grains, beef liver, tuna, and salmon. It's also found in the dark leafy greens, papaya, oranges, some melons like cantaloupe and honeydew, and chickpeas. B7 for biotin. This is, once again, enriched fortified grains, eggs, salmon, beef, liver, and pork, avocados and sweet potatoes, and a lot of nuts and seeds. This is the strong hair and nails vitamin. You'll see it kind of being advertised. Next slide, please. B9, which is folate or folic acid, enriched grains, seeds, dark leafy greens, peanuts, beans, and eggs. B12 is cobalamin or cyanocobalamin. You may see it as well. Enriched grains, dairy products, meats, and enriched yeast. This is one of the only sources that people who are vegan can get B12 from their diet is from yeast, because it's otherwise only found in animal products or the enriched grains. Next slide, please. Okay, so now the question is always, well, do we add a supplement in addition to the diet? And that is a very multifaceted question, right? Next slide, please. So some toxicities to consider. If you were at the conference last year, you heard me say a lot, B vitamins are water soluble, meaning that we excrete the extra that our body does not need when we take them in that moment, with the exception of these two. Now, niacin is very, very high doses, and it's all at once. So you hear about this less commonly, but I did want to include it just in case. Working with this community over the years, I've seen some of these supplements that have a very high amount of some of these B vitamins. And I just wanted to put the symptoms you may see. And if you're taking a new supplement that has these things and you feel some of these things, maybe kind of connect the dots. Pyridoxine or B6 is really the one that we worry about taking too much of, because that one can cause some peripheral neuropathy or numbness or weakening in the fingers and toes, and some loss of balance. So that's really the one we look out for in terms of trying not to go too high over. The rest you're going to excrete out with no problem, as long as you have functioning kidneys, I should say. Next slide, please. Okay, third-party verification. So in the US, at least, supplements are not regulated by the FDA, which is the Food and Drug Administration. So if I want to make a company for B vitamin supplements, I can put whatever I want in it and put it on the market and sell it. It's kind of crazy. But what third-party verification does is it tests that product to see what you say on the label is exactly what's in that product. So, and these are third-party separate companies that do this work. In the US, Consumer Lab is a great one. National Science Foundation, NSF, and USPC are actually international. NSF is the sports organization. So if you ever have any kids in sports or adults in sports and they have to, watch what supplements they take, this is usually the lab that verifies those things. On the right, I also found some other non-US but international brands or labs that do this third-party verification testing. I'm not super familiar with the SGS, the Bureau, or the ALS. If anybody has any experience with them, I'd love to hear some feedback. But those are also some third-party verifications that I found that are in Europe, South America, and I think that was it. But and ALS seemed to be worldwide. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is just kind of summarizing what I just went through with all the foods. Even as a dietitian, I have to sometimes remind myself, is B2 thiamine or riboflavin? Like it drives me crazy when they have two different names for the same thing. And this is just across the board. That's my little rant. But I wanted this to kind of be a little pocket guide. So if you guys wanted to print it out and have at home, you could. Oh, I think we got a little ahead. That's okay. There we go. And I realize this probably won't, you know, I'm going to give the presentation to Kasha so she can put it on the website, but this slide probably won't come out very clear, but Kasha, I'll send you the original PDF copy. That way families can print it out and have it clear. Next slide, please. So then the next question is how much? If I do supplement, how much do I give, you know, how much do I give them? This is the DRI or the RDA table. So this tells us what, and it breaks it down into ages right here on the left, you can see. And at the top, it has the name of the vitamin. So this is the daily recommended intake. So this is what we say everybody should get at least. Now, if you or your child is on a much higher dose of these vitamins and they're doing well, I wouldn't change anything. And I definitely, if you are starting or stopping anything, and if you are starting or stopping any supplements after this talk, please talk to your physician before you do anything. These are very broad recommendations, and I don't want anybody to take individual recommendations from this. But I did want to just have this, there's so many supplements out there, and a lot of people ask me to recommend certain supplements. And especially with a group like this, where there's so many international families where it would maybe apply to one or two people, you know, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to kind of teach a man to fish, we'll say. You know, I wanted to give you the tools to be able to, you know, wherever you're at, you can find the supplements and be able to see, okay, is this going to work for my child? Do I need to find something else? Okay. Next slide, please. Okay. So now we're going to talk about some of the other questions we got from the survey that didn't quite fit into the B vitamin category. Next slide, please. Okay, picky eating. This is such a huge topic everywhere. So a lot of questions were, you know, how can we get our child to eat a full meal? They're easily distracted. They're not interested in foods. I highly, highly recommend, I highly recommend this book or this website. Ellen Sater is the feeding dynamic guru, we'll say. And her website actually has a lot of good free material that can help families. But she talks about the feeding dynamic between parents and children and the different responsibilities between the parents and the children. So just a few very quick tips. Like I said, her website is so much more in depth. If you really struggle with this, I really recommend you go check her website out. Eliminate distractions such as iPads and TVs. I know sometimes this can seem like it makes things easier, but we really should be, you know, focusing on the food, the meal, and that's it, as much as we possibly can. Eat together as often as possible. Your kids want to be you, you know, they want to eat the things you eat. So if they see you and brother and sister, you know, sitting and eating and doing these things, they may not do it at first, but eventually they'll get there. You know, a lot of parents will come to me and struggle with a vegetable intake for their kiddos. And then I'll ask them what kind of vegetables they eat, and they don't eat any. Well, you know, your kiddo's not going to be interested in vegetables if they don't see you eating it. You know, why would I want to eat that if you're not going to eat that, kind of a thing? So, and that also kind of feeds into the next part. Be patient. Continue to offer the foods. I know it can be so frustrating to put something on a plate and then not touch it, and you have to throw it away day after day. But I promise, every time you do that, they're going to be more and more interested. If they start touching it, if they start smelling it, that is progress. Okay. Any interest in any, you know, if they lick it, that's progress. And just keep on. Okay. And don't push. You know, if it's a fight between you and your kiddo for eating, they're going to win, you know? So, and it doesn't, mealtime is so special, right? We don't want that to be a fighting time. So if they don't eat it, just let them not eat it. But like I said, continue to offer it. Every kid across the board needs to be introduced to a new food at least 20 times before they will even interact with it. And that is a statistic from the 80s. Like, that's been around a long time, and it's still really true. I think any parent here can probably say that that sounds pretty accurate, right? Involve kids in meal preparation. You know, vegetables are the thing that most parents struggle with. So if you're preparing spaghetti, have them chop the mushrooms or the onions. If they can't use a knife, have them tear the lettuce for the salad. If they can't use any, you know, kitchen tools, or if they can't, you know, if they're not very dexterous like that, have them pick out the vegetable for dinner. It makes them feel empowered and like they have a choice and they have a say in what they're eating. You know, it doesn't have to be what vegetable. It can be as simple as, do you want to have broccoli or green beans? Making them feel involved and giving them ownership of some things is really helpful. And you just kind of meet them where they're at, you know. Get creative, even with the supplements. If you found the perfect supplement, it has the perfect amount of all the things, but your kiddo doesn't want it, then it's not the perfect supplement, right? Well, there's ways we can get around that. If it's a tablet, we can crush it, put it in applesauce, put it in pudding, put it in a drink, put it in macaroni and cheese, so many different things. If it's a capsule, we can poke a hole in that capsule and squeeze out the liquid and put it in other stuff too. Oatmeal is really good at hiding the gel capsule stuff. We use it a lot for other like medications and things that have that same consistency. And oatmeal and applesauce, it mixes really well in. Let's see. I think that was kind of it for my picky eating, but yeah, picky eating is such a huge topic. I mean, we could spend a full week talking about picky eating because it is so dynamic, but I'll leave it there for today. Next slide, please. Some other miscellaneous topics that were asked. Somebody asked if sweeteners were safe. Sweeteners are safe in moderation, like anything else. There are sweeteners are not all created equal either. A lot of them are different chemical compositions. So if one sweetener causes some stomach aches or belly pain, try a different one. But I would also say in moderation, you know, I wouldn't try to put a sweetener in every single thing. If you're using it to flavor water or things like that, fresh fruit juice is a great way to add some flavor and of course a little nutrition without having those added sweeteners. But that being said, they are safe as long as you don't overdo it. CoQ10, this is, I'm sure our cardio folks could talk a little more to this, but it's been shown to improve certain heart-related issues. But this is something we get in our diet. It's in whole grains and fish. So if you have a diet that is rich in whole grains and fish, you probably don't need to think about supplementing it. If you don't eat either one of those things, then maybe talk to your doctor about supplementing it. The same thing goes for carnitine. This is rich in red meats and chicken. So if you are a vegan or vegetarian, you might consider supplementing it. But if you are a meat eater, you eat meat at every meal, you probably don't need it. Fat restriction. This is one we get asked about a lot. We have no current evidence to suggest fat restriction is beneficial for TANGO2 patients. And I also just want to warn, please do not restrict fat in children under the age of 2. It is so important for brain development. It can be very dangerous to restrict fat in children under 2. We don't recommend it at all for TANGO2 patients. We really just recommend a heart-healthy diet. Let's see. Creatine, this I'm not too familiar with in relation to TANGO2, but somebody asked a question about it, so I wanted to address it. And the studies have shown that it can help certain cognitive functions related to aging and mood disorders, but I was not able to find anything specific to TANGO2. I would love some feedback if anybody has heard anything else or has some literature. And then fasting. Really, when people ask me about TANGO2 in the research and what we know, the two things that pop into my mind are no fasting and B vitamins. We know that we don't want them to fast long. That being said, we know that our kiddos have glycogen stores intact. So there is no need to wake them up in the middle of the night for a feed. When we say no fasting, no prolonged fasting. So sleeping overnight, as long as your child is old enough to be able to sleep through the night, should not be an issue. If there are problems with hypoglycemia in the morning or in the middle of the night, I would recommend a good snack, good protein, and good fat snack. Carbs are digested quickest, and then protein, and then fat. So if you have a snack with all three of them, it's going to tide you over much longer. And so a good bedtime snack will have all three. Okay. Next slide, please. And thank you. That concludes my talk. I included a cute picture of my dog. For bonus points, who can tell me what B vitamins might be in her chicken bone?
I'm going to say all.
Pretty dang close, yep.
Yeah. There was a lot of meat.
Yes. Well, thank you guys so much for letting me come and be a part of your community. I really enjoy this community and speaking every time I get to. And yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity, Kasha and David. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Brandy, for the informative presentation. It's really good to know that there are things that we can control that are positive, that have a positive impact in the health of our TANGO2 children. Thank you in particular for providing such detailed answers to the questions fielded by our community over the past few weeks. Your time and effort is really appreciated.
Thank you.
We are now going to split up into groups and meet with your regional coordinators in the breakout rooms. This is an opportunity to discuss Brandy's presentation or to have them translated into your own language. It's also an opportunity to get to know each other in your areas. We've organized the rooms into regions, but feel free to join whichever region suits you best. If there's only a small number of people in your regional group, feel free to move to one of the other groups. It's your choice. The meeting administrators will close the break rooms in 10 minutes and you'll be redirected back as we close out the meeting. Enjoy the time. Please head to your region's breakout rooms now.
Recording.
Welcome back, everybody. I know it was took a while for everybody to get in a group, but we did it, and I hope it was worthwhile.
Yeah.
if your group or you have any other questions, you can email them to your regional coordinator or to info@tango2research.org, and I can pass those on to Brandy. Or if you have questions about other topics too, just let us know. And let's see, do we have everybody back?
Okay.
I think we should by now, right? Excellent.
Ok, nos mandas la duda a mi correo, por favor, y ya luego yo se las traduzco.
Sorry, I've just muted Sergio. I don't think he was talking
Okay.
to us. And
Yeah, it was, hello.
Hello.
Oh, sorry.
It's just that the time of the room was out. So I was talking to Gabby that if she has any questions, send to me in my email, and then I will translate it to you.
Excellent. Thank you for doing that.
Thanks, Sergio. Kasia,
Thank
do
you.
you want to just leave it 30 seconds? Because there are people that are still sort of flowing back in from the breakout rooms. I can see it in the participants list.
Good.
I think, yeah, if you could probably just go from the top there of what you were saying. Yep.
Well, I think let me know when it's a good time and we'll have Blake take it from there.
It's looking pretty good now. We've got 31 and we entered the breakout room with 43, but I think we've had a little bit of attrition of numbers since then. So it's probably a good time to start. Yeah.
All right, Blake.
Great. Well, hello, everybody. My name is Blake Moore. I'm first and foremost, I'm a dad to a TANGO2 kiddo named Ellie. She's 11. She was diagnosed at age 4, so we've been dealing with this for a little while. One of the opportunities I want to talk to you about today, on top of being Ellie's dad, I'm also a member of the TANGO2 Research Foundation Board. And one of the things that I want to talk about to you today is an opportunity to become what we call one of our monthly hero donators. This is a program, and as you can see on the screen, we've got some incredible, generous monthly donors involved in our organization. As a charity which relies heavily on donations, these folks help us to keep the engine running and our research flowing. I'm sure everybody knows research takes money, and I'm always willing to spend money on my kids when need be. So if you have the means and you're at all interested in becoming a monthly donor with the Research Foundation, please know how much it would be appreciated and how much we parents, along with the rest of the community, would appreciate that. This is a valuable way that you can show your support for the foundation and help us on our mission to cure TANGO2 disease. There is a link that will be placed in the chat for anyone that would like information on it. And I just want to thank the presenter and everybody for their time today. It's much appreciated.
Thank you, Blake. And thank all of you for joining us today, with special thanks to Brandy for her informative and really useful presentation. There was a lot of takeaways that I know I can use with Ryan. Before we leave today, we did have a few events that we want to make sure you know about that are being planned by the Research Foundation. And the first one is the online research symposium. This is coming up in October. And this meeting is going to highlight the research that's occurring across the globe on TANGO2 disease. And the attendance will benefit both families and health professionals. So it's really for everyone. It's for us, but it's also for your kids' doctors, for any researchers that you know of, for any of the specialists that your kids might see. So please help us spread the word to your healthcare teams as well. Also, on Saturday, the 13th of January, we will have our next TANGO2 Talk. And it's in the early days of planning right now, but we do want to bring possibly another healthcare specialist to answer more questions we might have and offer some best practice advice for us on any particular aspect of TANGO2 disease. And we'd love your input. If you have an idea for a topic for a meeting like this, please let us know. And finally, running from the 23rd to the 25th of June next year, 2024, we will have our next TANGO2 Family Conference. We have decided to return to Disney's Coronado Springs Resort. And as this venue really worked really well for us in 2022 and exceeded our expectations. I know it's a long way off next year, but it is a big trip for many of us. So please start your planning. And we hope we can join together as a big international family at this event. Also, this presentation today was prepared and presented by our outreach committee of the TANGO2 Research Foundation. And this is a committee that is really a great place if you have any interest in volunteering for the foundation. We can always use help in this group. And the purpose is really to, reach out to families with any new information or to make connections. And we also want all families to be able to reach out to us. So it does go both ways. So please contact us if you are interested in volunteering, or if you want to fundraise, or if you just want to reach out in any way. And thank you. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you can take home something that will help you and your family. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.